Hello, everyone, and welcome to our global heart stream meditation. I'm your host, Gabriel Gonsalves, broadcasting live on this really beautiful and hot summer day here in the south of Spain in Granada. How are you? How's your week going so far? Are you feeling the intensity of the sun's activity? Are you feeling it in your bones if you're feeling a little bit wobbly, especially like in your digestive system? Sometimes it has nothing to do with your daily events, and it has everything to do with the planetary energies. As you're well aware of, we're subject to planetary weather. So, all this extrasolar activity that you've been seeing in the news that expresses itself as aurora borealis and lights that should only happen in the far north, but we've seen them all the way down to the Caribbean. It means that the magnetic forces of the planet are changing, and you are an electromagnetic being, hence the importance of coming together regularly in groups like this for the purpose of connecting to your heart, grounding yourself, and energizing your heart. Okay. One of the things that the Institute of Heart Math has correlated is the effect of solar activity with increased heart attacks. And they've actually have the research that shows that every time that there is this peak magnetic activity coming from the sun, there's an increase of heart related incidents. Okay. So you want to, at times like these, when you're seeing the effects at an emotional level out in the world events, it's important that you stay grounded, that you stay in a loving heart center space, that you drink lots of water, and that you do whatever it can to take care of yourself. That's one of the mottos of this program, taking care of yourself so that you can also take care of others. Today, we're talking about probably one of my favorite topics, which is the topic of boundaries. What are they? Why are they important? And how to set them? I had prepared like a little slide over here to go along with that. This is a topic that is fascinating, and it's probably a topic we could discuss for hours on end. Any of you guys who wants to go deeper in this subject, I highly recommend that you read the book Boundaries by Henry Cloud. I think he's an authority on this topic. And today I'm going to be sharing a little bit, not necessarily from that book, but from my own personal experience as a transformational coach, not only learning about boundaries in my own life, but also setting boundaries in my relationship with others is equally important. And I'm going to be sharing a very simple process for setting boundaries that it's so simple, yet at the same time so powerful that it can transform your relationships. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right in. What are boundaries? Well, boundaries are anything that ultimately define you. Open up a map, and what are you going to see? You're going to see a whole bunch of little lines that define a country or a territory. Okay. Look around and notice that everything has a skin, everything has an outer surface, and that outer surface defines what is me and what is not me. Okay. And so this is going to be key when you begin to set boundaries, because you're going to notice that many of us, one of the reasons we struggle to create boundaries between us and other people is because we are not sure where do we end and other people begin, or vice versa. Hence it becomes very difficult, and this becomes even harder for people like you and me who are highly empathic, and highly empathic people struggle tremendously to set interpersonal boundaries. In other words, we struggle to say no. A boundary is set anytime or every time that you say no. If you observe little children when they start to go through their terrible twos, what it's happening at that moment is through the process of individuation. At the very beginning, when they were babies, they're like, "Oh, I'm one with mommy, and I love mommy, and I am one with mommy." And so there is no boundaries between them and mom. Obviously, And that can be understood. If you spend 9 months inside your mother's belly, you're going to feel one with them. But little by little, the child begins to feel this need of like, wait a minute, I'm different than mommy. My body's different than mommy. I'm experiencing life from a different perspective. And so I want to now be my own little guy and do my own thing, not what mommy tells me I should be doing. And so what happens? The child then begins to say, no, 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 want this? No, no. I remember my nephew, Gabriel. He would not eat anything when he was about 2.5, other than chicken. The only thing he would eat was chicken. You gave him a carrot, no. You gave him a little bit of egg, no. You gave him a little bit of like a cookie, no. And then you gave him a little bit of chicken, and he was like, yes. So here's the thing about boundaries. Why are they so important? Is because they define you. And I'm going to say this once again. This is key. Boundaries define you, define who you are. One of the greatest influences that I've had in my life, Dr. David Hawkins, once wrote that along the journey of manifestation, our job is just to get very clear about who we want to be, what kind of a person, what kind of qualities do we wish to have, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and be very clear. And then say no to or release and let go of everything that is not that. All right. Incredibly powerful and very simple idea. So, everything that you say no to defines you because everything that you say no to determines what is ultimately left, what it is that it actually stays. So I want you to think of yourself when it comes to your own life as the gardener of your own life. So think about a gardener who has this beautiful idea about what kind of a garden they would like to create or plant. And then what do? They just start defining exactly what it is that it's going to go here in this corner in this other corner, etc. And then what happens once they're clear of like, okay, this is going to go here, this is going to go there, then they begin to obviously place the plants, but then they begin to trim the plants. They begin to remove everything. They start to remove the weeds. They start to remove anything and everything that is not part of the vision. All right. So as somebody who's on the path of heart mastery, as somebody who's on the path of consciously and deliberately creating your own life, boundaries become a very powerful tool. Your ability and your willingness to say no to what ultimately is not you, it's not the real you, it's not what you want for your life. And the easiest and simplest way, just like a child or even a dog, is to say no is to say no. One of the most powerful phrases that you can learn, and I would encourage you to add that to your vocabulary, is the expression, this is not okay with me. Let me hear you all say it. Irish, Veronica, I'm using this opportunity to welcome all of you guys. Mary, Alessandra, Jacqueline, Max, welcome everybody who's here with us today. Let me hear you say this, practice it. This is not okay with me. What you did, the way you behave, this is not okay with me. This is the very simple, most important way that you can just simply tell somebody no, rather than just simply saying no. Let them know it's not just no, it's just that this behavior, this action, this thing is not okay with me. You're in essence saying, this is not who I am. This is not what I'm choosing. This is not what I want. Another incredibly powerful boundary that you can set is just simply like a gardener making a decision for what it is that you do want. All right. So the moment, for example, you make the conscious choice that everyone in your life loves, honors, and appreciates you. And this is now your reality. At that moment, you set a very powerful standard and also a boundary. A standard is a boundary. Okay. And so at that moment, anyone that disrespects you, that doesn't love you, that doesn't appreciate you, that undermines you, that bullies you, etc., you can begin to release from your life. And in fact, more often than not, when people set a powerful boundary like that, which is an energetic boundary because it's coming from a place of your own deeper spiritual will, naturally begins to happen is some of those people just naturally begin to walk away from your life because they feel that at an unconscious level. So you making a choice about who you're choosing to be begins to set and define that boundary. Okay. So it's okay to say no. In fact, one of the things I realized that one of the biggest obstacles that most people, especially empathic people, have that keeps them from saying no to other people is they're afraid to hurt other people. If they're really truthful to themselves, if they say no, I am going to hurt Gabriel, I'm going to hurt Mary, I'm going to hurt this other person. And because I'm very sensitive to pain, I know that once I create this pain, I am going to feel it. So you see what is at work is you're not willing to say no, not just because you don't want to hurt the other person, but because you yourself don't want to experience the pain that normally you feel when you hurt a loved one. All right. So you have to be willing to say no. Now, another obstacle that keeps people from making boundaries is that the majority of us are so disembodied, so disconnected, operating so much out of our head, out of our intellect, out of what I normally refer to as channel one, that we are so disconnected with the natural intelligence of your body. If you were truly embodied, if you were really present to your body, you would realize that your body is constantly giving you information about what foods are good for you, what people are good for you, because those people normally, or those foods, or those places, or environments, strengthen you. So if you're in the presence of somebody that every time you spend time with them, you feel weaker, you feel like they suck your energy, those are probably people you need to start saying no to, or could be foods, or could be habits, or could be addictions. Okay. And so you're going to notice that the more you begin to inhabit channel two, the more you begin to move into the body, and then through the body, feeling your feelings, feeling your sensations, and then also feeling your own energy, the more you begin to get to know your energy, and the stronger relationship or communion you have with your essence, with who you really are, the easier it will be for you to say no. This is why a child has no problem of saying no, because you see, their first channel, the channel of the intellect, the rational mind, hasn't quite developed yet. And so, and they don't really know, they don't have a history. They're not interested in like making you happy or anything. They're just like really in that place of me, 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 me. All right. And so what I want. And so they're driven obviously by the body's needs and desires. And so you have a lot to learn from a child. It is the connection to their body and through the senses that allows them to immediately say no to something that just doesn't feel right. So you're going to notice that the more you do these practices, the more you come into the heart, the more you begin to commune with your own energy, the more you begin to deeply allow and welcome your emotions, both the high and the lows. At that moment, you're going to be much more in tune with the natural intelligence of the body, sorry, that is always connected to the field of consciousness. And you're going to be able to feel the subtle cues that would allow you to make a decision with regards to who is right for you and who is not right for you, what is right for you, what is not right for you, what kind of foods are right for you, what kind of foods are not, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's another key. All right. So when it comes to interpersonal boundaries, there's a very simple uh, tool or technique that I learned during my years in South Africa, and I would like to share it with you now. And is learning how to set boundaries, interpersonal boundaries, in the same way in which a dog sets boundaries. That's right. We're going to actually use a the example of how a dog sets the boundaries so that we can actually do the same thing. So, hey, if nature does it this way, since you come from nature and you do have a human nature, why not use the exact same process? So, here's a technique. Notice that a dog, especially a dog that is protecting its puppies or is guarding a house, territory, when you approach them and they immediately feel threatened, why? Because there is a boundary, right? They're protecting that house. They're protecting their puppies, their children. When you approach them, what's the first thing that they do? That's right. They growl. They go, "Mrr, mrr," right? They show you their teeth. And what happens if you don't um, do anything? What happens if you say, screw this dog, I'm going to go in there? And so you transpass that boundary. Then the next thing you're going to hear is a bark. I can actually do a pretty good bark. Listen to this. I don't know what my neighbors are thinking right now. Okay. And so at that moment, the dog will bark. So it goes from a growl to a bark and it becomes very loud. Okay. And so that bark is not only showing you its teeth, but it's giving you a very powerful, strong warning sign. And then what happens if you, in spite of that bark, still cross that barrier? Boom, the bite, right? Comes, it's been followed by an action. All right. So you're probably wondering, okay, how do you then translate this into an interpersonal relationships? Well, this is how you normally go about it. Let's say, actually give you an example from my personal life. When I was a child, my dad had this habit. I don't know where he got it from, probably from his own father, of like slapping me on the head. Okay. And every time he slapped me on the head, it was just make me feel really angry. It made me feel stupid. And it was just awkward. It's like, why are you hitting me on the head? But I hated it. And then obviously it was my father who was an authority figure. I loved him. And so I would just sort of like shrink and would not do anything. And so I started repressing a lot of that anger. So later on, I went on to university, high school, et cetera, to live in the US. And then one time I remember being at university and this friend of mine, just joking when we were doing sports, playing soccer or something, he just kind of like slapped me on the head. And I remember at that time, right when that happened, boom, that trigger response from the autonomic nervous system, right? They call it the amygdala hijack, boom, kicked in. And immediately I felt all this anger. And I just told my friend, like, listen, uh, please don't do that. Okay. My father used to hit me on the head and I don't like it. So kind of remember when I said at the very beginning, this is not okay with me. All right. So this is kind of what I was saying. Please don't do that. All right. You can even make an agreement. Can we agree that you're not going to do that? Okay. All right. And now this guy, 30 minutes later into the game, he comes back and like, boom, hits me again. And at that moment, whoa, I feel the anger, I feel everything. I just asked him not to do it. He told me he was not going to do it. And then I said to him, okay, listen, dude, I asked you not to hit me on the head, but you went ahead and hit me again. So the next time you hit me, I'm going to punch you in the face really hard. And he just kind of laughed. Ha, 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 ha. Gabriel's not going to hit me. All right. Well, a few minutes later, guess what happened? We continue to play. Hits me once again. What do? I grabbed him and I punched him on the nose, knocked him down. And of course, I hurt myself more than I think I actually hurt him because I've never really been much of a fighter. But when it comes to those kind of primal type of trauma and wounds, it generates such primal feelings that could happen. So, what did I do? What did I do in this brief example? Well, the very first thing was that I growled. I showed him my teeth and said, like, hey, this is not okay with me. And when it happened the second time around, I not only told him like, "Hey, you did it again," and I told you not to do it, but I told him what the consequence of him doing that again would be. I'm going to punch you. And then the third time, what did I do? There was no arguing. There was not even like warning because I had already given him the warning. It was just followed by the action in the same way in which a dog would just bark at you, then, sorry, growl at you, bark at you, and then follow that with the bite. Okay. So I want to inspire you or encourage you, like in your daily lives, you can do the same thing with those people that are constantly trespassing the boundaries that you have outspoken, you have clearly established. All right. They keep incurring those behaviors of that, you know what those are. All right. And do exactly that. First, you know, growl, let them know it's not okay with you, request that they please don't do that. Then, if they incur in the same behavior, then okay, give them a warning and say, "Hey, we agree not to do this. You did it. If you do it one more time, this is what's going to happen." And then, if they trespass that boundary a third time, you need to take action. Okay, and this is key. Imagine if when this happened when I was at university, after if the third time I would have warned him again, given him a second warning, he would have just kept doing it 3, 4, 5 times, and then he would just be slapping my head during the rest of the game. So it didn't happen because I punched him. All right, so you want to do the same thing. All right. The third time, take action. All right. Take action. Whatever it is that you said that you were going to do, follow through. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it brings up emotional pain, even if it hurts the other person. Okay. But follow it through because if you don't, they're not going to respect you. And boundaries is all about respect. It's about all getting other people to respect you, right? To honor you, to appreciate you. As a child of God, you deserve to be loved, honored, and appreciated. And with this, I want to now launch into today's guided meditation, which is designed to, in essence, help you become very in tune and aware with your own energy, with your own feelings, with your own emotions, with your own energetic space. All right. So that in the future, you can then make healthier, more powerful choices when it comes to saying no to people that are not good fit for you, no to addictions, to situations, to habits, to whatever it is. Because once again, you are defined by your boundaries. You are defined by everything that you say no to, obviously, because what ends up being left is ultimately who you are and what you are or what you're choosing to be. All right, so let us now move into the next channel. All right, the channel of the non-linear as we dive into today's guided meditation on reclaiming your energetic and emotional self and your ability to set very clear, powerful boundaries in your everyday life. Let us begin. Take a few moments simply to check in with yourself and notice how you're feeling right now. As you close your eyes and begin to look inward into the endless and timeless dimension of your being. And for the next minute, in silence, simply become aware of your thoughts, physical sensations, and your feelings. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, simply to observe and to witness. Now, bring a hand over to the heart area and give it a nice rub. Gentle rub. Generating not only a little bit of heat, but also feeling the boundary between your skin and the exterior. I learned in South Africa that your skin is the largest organ. Your skin is not just what protects you from the elements, but also what ultimately defines your innermost physical space. You have an energetic space that expands probably about 1 meter in every direction. But your physical space is defined by the skin, where the skin ends. So feel it. And then begin to breathe into the heart. Breathing nice and slow, breathing nice and deep, breathing nice and evenly. Letting go of unnecessary tension in the body with every breath. Giving yourself permission as you breathe in and out of the heart to relax the head, the neck, the shoulders. Relax the ears. That's right, relax the ears. Relaxing the jaw. Relaxing the upper torso. Letting go of unnecessary tension around the stomach area. There's no need to hold the stomach in. You can just let it all hang. Nobody's watching. And as you breathe in and out of the heart, feel as this life force energy that is your breath begins to inhabit your body, begins to expand and move to the head, to the arms, to the legs, begins to fill all the spaces within you, creating more space between the organs, creating more space between the cells, making contact now with that aspect of you that is spacious, that is timeless, that is limitless. Your physical body, which has boundaries of space, filled right now, this moment, by an energy that is boundless and limitless. Embrace that duality. That you live in a physical body that appears to be subject to physical limitations, but that there is this spiritual energy that inhabits it, that is in constant state of flow and movement, and it is endless and eternal. Recognizing now and feeling gratitude and appreciation for both your human nature and your divine essence. Put on a little smile as you breathe in and out of the heart and feel gratitude. Gratitude for this life, gratitude for this moment, gratitude for those special people in your life that love you, that honor you, that appreciate you. Gratitude for how far you have come along your life journey, how much you have grown, how much you have healed. The fact that you're here right now, that you survived trials and tribulations, that you have reinvented yourself numerous times in your life, and you have yet to deliver your greatest gifts and talents in service of the world. Breathe into that. And let gratitude now be the key that opens your heart to this deeper awareness and this deeper understanding that we call your heart. Take a moment now to become aware of the part of you that's physical. Feel that boundary between your physicality and the exterior world. Feel that space within where you begin. And then give yourself permission now to move deeper into the center of your being. And as you do this, imagine your heart as a sun radiating its warmth energy. Your heart radiates and generates the largest electromagnetic field within your body. Feel into it, see it. Imagine it as a sun on a bright, shiny day. And in the same way in which the sun has a physicality, yet we can feel its warmth all the way out here, feel how this energy that emanates from your heart, from your center, it expands in all directions and it goes beyond the limited confines of your body. See yourself, feel yourself surrounded by a sphere of light. This is a fierce light that is constantly interacting with your environment, with other people. It's what allows you to feel other people, read the room, feel the energy, and it's also what allows others to feel you. Become aware of this field for the next few moments in silence. Feel, see, and imagine now that this field begins to expand in every direction and it begins to commune with everyone who's here today. Aurelia, your field is expanding in every direction and is now merging with Mary's field and Veronica's field and Irish and Alessandra and Mariette and Jacqueline and Max and Cindy's. All our fields now expanding and merging with each other, creating an expanded field of compassion, gratitude, and appreciation that flows from the heart. And as you see, feel, and experience this connection, yet maintain awareness of your individuality and your own personal boundary, allow me to speak the following prayer on your behalf. In the name of the Father, my beloved I am presence, which is God in me. In the name of the Son, my holy Christ self, which is Christ in me. And of the Holy Spirit, the presence of God in which I live, breathe, and have my being. I speak the following word on behalf of everyone who's present here today or watching this live replay, knowing that where I am, God is. That I am one with the heart of God is one with me, and that right here and right now, my heart is one with infinite loving intelligence that is God. My heart is now perfectly in union with the same heart that was in Jesus the Christ, in Gautama the Buddha, in Shri Krishna Govinda. I recognize the sacredness of my own heart, as I recognize the sacredness of my own body, as I recognize the sacredness of my own boundaries. It's easy to say no to what I don't want. It's easy to enforce interpersonal boundaries, for I know deep down in my heart that my boundaries define me. That everything I say no to allows me to ultimately feel into and be left with what is ultimately true and real, that it's eternal, that can never be destroyed. I embrace the duality that I am a human being governed by physical laws that require me to set boundaries. Yet at the same time, I recognize that I live in a unified field where I am one with anything and everyone, where there are no boundaries. I recognize it, I embrace it, I know this is my reality, and I make peace with this truth. From this moment forward, I choose to only draw and attract into my life people that love, honor, and appreciate me. From this moment forward, I choose to only focus on that which nurtures, supports me, and inspires me. Releasing and letting go and saying no to those addictions, foods, places, habits, and environments that no longer nurture me or serve me. That every time I say no to that which drains my energy, brings me down emotionally or in awareness or consciousness, I am strengthening my will. I am gaining power. This power is my divine right. This power, I now harness it. This power, now I use it to create the life that I want in Christ, in love, in unity, and in harmony with the whole. This is the reality of everyone here today. And with a grateful heart, filled with appreciation, I let this be the truth of my being. And so it is, and it is so. Amen. Notice that the moment boundaries begin to be defined within you, you become stronger. For anything and everything that you say no to that had been draining you creates the conditions so that more of you can exist. So that you can use then this now radiance, this love, this wisdom, this power to harness it, amplify it, multiply it, and share it with the world. So now see, feel, and imagine now that our collective hearts are now expanding even more, going out into a world that so desperately needs it. See, feel, and imagine the heart wave of unconditional love and compassion now leaving this space and going out those places in this world of ours where there is pain, disease, suffering, every place where there's war, division, every place where there's anger, resentment, let it flow. See, feel, and imagine now that the power that you are and we are harnessing together has the capacity to heal and transform anything and everything that crosses its path. And that we need not to direct it or tell it what to do, for love knows exactly what to do. Love heals, love nourishes, love strengthens, love upholds, love protects. Feel that. And for the next few moments, in the silence and the stillness of your heart, let it be so. You are defined more by what you say no to. Your boundaries define you. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to say no. This isn't me. No. This is not okay with me. No. This doesn't work for me. No. This is not okay with me. You have a right to reinforce that boundary. And you have the right to leave any condition, relationship, or situation where your boundaries are constantly being transgressed and you're being disrespected or abused. That is your divine right. When faced in difficult interpersonal relationship where you're struggling to set boundaries, remember that you can set boundaries in the same way in which nature does, animals do. So remember, growl, bark, bite. Let the other person know this isn't okay with me. I don't like this. I don't agree with this. It's not what I want. Can you please don't do it? Can you please behave in this other way? If they continue to transgress that boundary, then bark. Let them know again and give them a warning. Make an agreement that that behavior will not happen again. And then the third time happens, take action. Follow through on whatever it is that you said you were going to do. All right, saying no, this is going to feel a little bit, for those of you who are addicted or recovery people pleasers, are saying yes to everything and to everyone, it's going to feel very weird. And it may even bring up a lot of uncomfortable feelings, the feelings that you were avoiding in the first place by always saying yes to others. But you're going to notice that it will just be part of a growing phase that you move through. You're finally facing the discomfort of saying no. But over time, you'll begin to see it as an act of self-love, with a deeper understanding that what you say no to strengthens you and defines you. What you say yes to defines you even more. You may now begin to open your eyes as you come back once again to the full awareness of our time together, feeling wonderful, feeling grounded, feeling strong, feeling more embodied, opening the eyes, and welcome back, everybody. How was this for you? How are you feeling? You feeling stronger? Feeling more grounded? I'd love it if you can let me know in the comments below. All right, it's amazing how quickly time goes by every Wednesday when we do these meditations. I feel like that once I hit the go live button, then things just flow and then everything happens so quickly. Sometimes I don't even remember what the heck I said. I go very much in the flow. So thank you very much for being with me here today, as you have been every Wednesday. I hope you're walking away feeling stronger, feeling grounded, and more importantly, with a deeper and greater awareness of the importance of setting boundaries in your own life. And also, even though I did not mention it during our brief chat, but it's also setting boundaries within yourself, with yourself. Okay. We're creating a not to do list, or looking at all those things, those habits that it's time to say no to. Okay. Wonderful. Jacqueline says, excellent meditation. Thank you so much for your leadership. You're very welcome, Jacqueline. Maria says, I will do the dog teaching. The dog teaching? Are you going to go teach a dog? Are you becoming a dog trainer? I'm guilty of not wanting to hurt somebody instead of being honest and to establish a boundary. Yeah, well, you and I would say 80% of the human race. Aurelia says, your bark is worse than your bite. Yeah, it depends on who you're talking to. All right, wonderful. All right, my dear friends, wherever you are in the world, I wish you a fantastic rest of the week. Please remember to always, always, always take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. And as always, I send you all of my love from my heart to yours. Bye-bye for now.